Oh, there's some fantastic big animals out there. We've had a chance to dive with whale sharks, with manta rays, with schooling hammerhead sharks, and with turtles.
You know, I can travel anywhere in the world and come on back, and I still want to go out to the flower gardens. I love it that much.
Descending like the specter of a giant bat, a manta ray flies over a magical underwater wonderland located 100 miles off the coasts of Texas and Louisiana. Like an oasis appearing in a vast desert, the underwater salt domes of the Flower Garden Banks provides a pristine underwater shelter for a variety of tropical fishes and invertebrates. The east and west flower gardens are a pair of underwater coral reefs, 12 miles apart, located 105 nautical miles south of the Texas-Louisiana border and 50 feet below the sea surface. In the past, fishermen who have worked these banks since the late 1800s often snagged pieces of these colorful reefs on their hooks, thus the name flower gardens.
It was just about 100 years ago now that fishermen realized the bounties of the flower garden banks. They were out fishing for snapper and grouper and found that there were extremely high abundances around banks offshore. The flower gardens are just one of dozens of banks offshore. It wasn't until the 1930s that geologists discovered the nature of the flower gardens by mapping them. And then it wasn't really until the 1960s that divers first visited the area and found the extremely unusual habitats that are on those banks.
The entire area of 41.7 nautical square miles was designated a National Marine Sanctuary in 1992 by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary protects the northernmost coral reefs in the United States, and except for Bermuda, the northernmost in the Atlantic Ocean. A neighboring area known as Stetson Bank, located only 30 nautical miles from the flower gardens, harbors a great diversity of fishes, sponges, corals, and mollusks. Stetson's resources had been threatened and suffered the effects of extensive anchoring, overfishing, souvenir and shell collecting over a period of years.
The largest threat nowadays is probably anchoring by large foreign vessels. Every once in a while, a large foreign vessel will come up and anchor up on top of the banks, and the anchors on those ships are enormous, and the chain that goes along with the anchors, of course, causes enormous damage.
On October 11, 1996, Stetson Bank was added to the flower gardens and is now a protected area. Typical recreational dives in the sanctuary range from 60 to 80 feet. Visibility is usually excellent, often exceeding 100 feet. There are at least 21 species of coral, 253 species of reef invertebrates, including mollusks, brittle stars, sea urchins, and lobsters. The fish population includes 175 resident tropical species, as well as numerous migratory species. Divers may occasionally spot the threatened loggerhead turtle here.
One of the interesting things that we've done here is to capture loggerhead sea turtles at the flower garden banks and bring them to the surface, take biological specimens to tag the animals, and put a transmitter on the animal to track its movement and its activity at the banks.
Each winter, the reefs witness reunions of hammerhead shark schools. Whale sharks, which grow to 60 feet in length, can be abundant one year but absent the next. Manta rays can be seen year-round. This amazing profusion of sea life attracts visitors from all areas of the world.
When a manta ray comes up to you, it will look you over. If you leave it alone, if you get vertical in the water, don't move much, it will move away, it'll come back. If it comes back, then you can get up over the top of it, making sure that you don't bang into it, and gently rub its back, and you can feel the back shimmer, and they thoroughly enjoy that. They actually, I believe, enjoy human interaction.
Commercial and recreational fishermen are attracted to the banks, usually in search of red and vermilion snapper and grouper. Each year, on the 8th evening after the August full moon, and possibly for a couple of days on either side of that, several species of corals and other animals engage in a reproductive frenzy. The reefs exhibit some of the most prolific and highly predictable spawning found anywhere. This amazing event was first documented at the Flower Gardens in 1990 and has since become a popular trip for recreational divers.
One of these coral heads, we looked at it and we could see it smoking. It looked really, really strange. And we came back to the boat and reported it to the captain. And so we, really didn't understand what was going on. And it wasn't until later, it was about 2 weeks later, that they actually had the full-blown coral spawning happening. And I was told that we probably saw the beginnings of it.
Scientists have continued their studies of the flower gardens as they try to understand the complex relationships between animals, plants, and their habitats.
It's necessary for a researcher to interact with the management people and the public, and the sanctuary is the means through which we do that.
NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, has managed marine sanctuaries since the passage of the National Marine Sanctuaries Act of 1972. There are now 12 marine sanctuaries that protect our nation's irreplaceable cultural and natural marine resources. Protection of these resources requires a great deal of planning, management, and cooperation between federal, state, and local officials. The Sanctuaries program provides for enhanced protection for these areas. It coordinates scientific research to monitor marine resources. It enhances public awareness and wise use of these unique environments. These waters provide a secure habitat for species close to extinction and protect historically significant shipwrecks and cultural artifacts. Monitoring the health of the sanctuary and the impact of human activities remains a priority for sanctuary managers. It is estimated that around 25,000 dives are made each year in the sanctuary, most of these by divers arriving on charter vessels. All boats are required to use mooring buoys to avoid anchor damage. Users must also be aware of the potentially harmful effects of vessel discharges and mechanical damage caused by careless divers. The Gulf of Mexico has nearly 4,000 oil and gas platforms and over 22,000 miles of pipeline underwater that transports tons of oil onshore. In addition, large amounts of oil are imported through the Gulf. This translates to a constant threat to precious resources and a precarious balancing act between development and preservation. Using as a model the damage to other coral reefs located near human population centers around the world, scientists have noted the harmful effects of land-based pollution sources, both commercial and residential. Fertilizer, sediment runoff, sewage discharges, and deforestation can affect reefs up to 100 miles offshore. In the past, the impact to reefs from land pollution sources had been blamed on large commercial operations, ignoring the significant role each individual plays in the scenario. The combined actions of each person is the key to preserving precious, irreplaceable resources such as the flower gardens.
It's up to every one of us in the little decisions that we make every day to affect the environment in a good way. It's those little decisions like keeping our car tuned, what products we buy, buying products that come from environmentally responsible companies, how much fertilizer or pesticides do we put on our lawn. All those little decisions that most people don't think twice about.
Conserve your water, make sure you're not dumping things down your sink that shouldn't be dumped down your sink. Be careful about what you put on your lawn, and they're things we've already heard, but we haven't incorporated them into our individual lifestyles yet.
As a diver flies over the special world of the flower garden banks and wonders at the beauty that surrounds him, it becomes apparent that this is a very special area to be cherished and protected. The challenge at the flower gardens is to balance human use with conservation. Through the legacy of the National Marine Sanctuaries program, which provides stewardship through education, research, monitoring, and cooperation, we will continue to treasure this priceless resource for all time.